All right, today we're going to talk about funding and accounting for annually funded student organizations on campus. Annually funded student clubs and organizations include Student Government Association, Campus Activities Board, Resident Student Association, Commuter Student Association, Organization of Latin American Students, Black Student Union, and National Association of Colored Women's Clubs. Annually funding timeline for these clubs means at the end of a year, you will submit a budget request in the spring for the following academic year. You will also at that time need to go in person to meet with SGA. You'll receive an allocation over summer. Throughout the year, you must attend SGA Senate meetings. You can see their page on EngageDU for that specific information. You must meet with a budget committee member twice a semester. You will submit a fall budget report and a spring budget report. And then that following spring, you would again start back at the top of this list with submitting a request for the following year and attending a meeting. Sundry reports. So they're always going to be shared in your group's Outlook account under Files. When you're reviewing this report, it's a little tricky, so pay attention. It'll say amount due. So if it says -50 that's due, that would actually mean you have 250 in your account. So if you see a negative at the bottom of the report, pause for a moment and remember, wait, I'm panicking. We actually have funds in our accounts. Organization student leaders are held responsible for overspending the account. If at the end of the year you're not at a zero or a positive balance, the officers of the club, if they don't figure out a way to handle it, that amount will be split between them and charged to their student account. Again, if you ever have any questions or if there's discrepancies on your report, reach out to Student Life. Spending and reimbursement. So when you go to spend your funds and then need to be reimbursed, if it's under $50, you can submit that to student accounts for cash. If it's above $50, you can submit that to the business office and they will cut you a check. The business office cuts checks twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is the deadline, and then they would be ready for pickup the following days. You must have the receipts and documentation for those requests. And that always has to be signed by your advisor. It cannot be the treasurer, the president, or you can't sign your own reimbursement. It needs to be your advisor. If your advisor is not available for a good amount of time, you can follow up with Student Life. But again, all these spendings and transactions should be shared with your treasurer and making sure that the club is being responsible with tracking its own spending so you're never overspending the account. Contracts policies. So if you want to have a vendor or artist for an online event or on-campus event, that contract needs to be submitted via the event form to Student Life to be reviewed at least a month prior, because there are different steps that we need to review, approve, and then sign. Again, students and advisors are never allowed to personally sign for a club and org. We want to have that signed by our office and not under your own personal responsibilities if something were to go wrong with that contract. Again, if you want to have the checks cut for the contract, you would need to submit the contract in a W-9 tax form to the business office. Say you were having a speaker join you for an online event this fall. They're not charging you. You should still be doing a contract. But say you wanted to give them like $100 for doing that. That's called an honorarium. Then you would just submit that information to the business office. If it's above $400, they would need to turn in a W-9 tax form for that to be cut. Also, say you just wanted to do a $25 Starbucks gift card as a thank you. You could purchase that, get reimbursed as a club and org member, and then give that gift card to that presenter. Additional information. SGA will never fund or reimburse for Chicagoland area hotels, so please take that into consideration when making plans. Sundry reports will be shared in August at the beginning of the school year, December, and early April at the end of the year. If you have any questions or need anything in between, you can always reach out to us. Always be using your tax exempt for club and org purchases only. That is provided on the Student Life EngageDU page. Presidents, treasurers, and advisors can access that page Other members can't because we wanted it to be a little bit more secure. But if you're ever in need, you could stop by Student Life and we can assist you with that. And at any point during the year, the treasurer has any questions about the balance and wants to compare what their tracking has versus what the business office currently has, they can reach out to our office and we will be able to look at the total balance. Say if you've been doing a lot of transactions and you are asking for a report not at the 3 times during the year, you can also make that request by emailing Be Involved. And the last thing, EngageDU has a ton of resources on the Student Life Involvement page. If you go under our document section, you can find our funding and accounting for student clubs and orgs. There's how to fill out a reimbursement form. There's an Excel doc that can help you with your tracking. There are specific handouts for annually funded or non-annually funded clubs. A lot of great information, the handbook and other policies that is vital to clubs and orgs, making sure they're having all their ducks in a row and being successful on campus. Thanks for joining.